All right, so recently on Tubi, I was watching the original Hellboy live action movie from 2004 with Ron Perlman as Hellboy. Um, and I wanted to discuss a few of the interesting things that I fell in love with from the movie was mostly the lore
Mhm.
and a few also random stuff that I noticed rewatching the movie. If you guys don't know, Hellboy is originally a Dark Horse comic book written by Mike Mignola years ago about a demon that was born on Earth from a human mother and a demon father, and he was raised by a human named forget his first name, but his name is Broomhold, and he gets conscripted into this organization called the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense, so the BPRD. And for 50 years, from the 40s all the way into the early 2000s, Hellboy would fight, supernatural threats as a federal agent, basically. And so the show, it was finally popular enough. Uh, well, it started in 2001, the issues, but like his lore history is like all the way from the 1940s. Uh, they decided to make a movie, 2004, written by Guillermo del Toro and directed by Guillermo del Toro. If you guys know who that is, you know who Guillermo del Toro is. And so I wanted to talk about some of the cool stuff that I like from the lore stuff. One of the I always like adding little history stuff or like lore because I just love lore and lore history within a series.
Mhm.
Like it can be completely made up. Like that's why I've always enjoyed the Warhammer 40,000 books because it is just fucking steeped.
You got
Like
that, and then like the D&D and stuff like that.
yeah, like 600 fucking books of Warhammer 40,000 K or 40K, I guess they call it. And I've read a few of them, like at least 8 of them. And like you can just tell there's so much history. Like if you start from the beginning,
It's almost like Elder Scrolls too, where there's like long, like just lore history.
a lot of history. Yeah. So one of the fun things is that the Hellboy, one of his partners, Abe Sapien, who was a fish man. He was found back in like he was found the day that Abraham Lincoln got shot. So they named him Abe, and they just added Sapien to the end of it. And they go to this museum in New York to it's also so it's all supernatural, demons, monsters, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like it's lighthearted comedy too, so it's not super serious. So it's kind of like a mixture, it's like a typical action movie. Like you balance the romance, the comedy, the horror, the action. You balance it perfectly. You get a good movie. Well, I guess horror is for you wouldn't have horror in everything. You wouldn't have like horror and Die Hard.
Too right.
Be random as hell. A demon popped out. John McClane's like, "What the fuck? You be kaye?
You get Jigsaw coming out.
What you want to play a game?"
Do you want to play a game?
And John McClane's like, "No," and he fucking shoots him in the head.
It just ends right there. The whole movie.
It's just fucking, oh, he killed him. Oh,
You got Pennywise coming out of the sewer right there.
that would be yeah. Hey, John McClane, want to float?
No.
So Hellboy goes into the another thing about his personality is that he was raised as a human, so he wants to so badly identify and be considered ordinary
Yeah.
that's one of his like things. Like he files his horns down to better fit in with people.
Even though it doesn't make it fit any better.
No, he's red as fuck. He's got a big ass right hand made of a hammer, and so he's a demon. And in the comic books, he actually has like hooved feet. I guess it wasn't practical for the live action. He just regular boots, which because when I first saw him in the movie, and then I saw the comic book, I'm like, damn, wait, what the fuck's up with his feet? Shit, like fucking 2 fucking toes, look like fucking Ninja Turtle. Although he has like clothed feet like an actual demon.
Yeah.
And so I also thought he had some scrawny ass legs too when I first saw him in the comic book. Like all upper body,
Yeah.
no fucking leg. The no leg day, you know what I mean? But some artists actually fleshed out his legs for once. Because I think Mike Mignola gave him some real scrawny legs when he first wrote the character. When he first drew it.
Trying to give him those goat legs.
I guess so. But he was like, you can't hold up all that fucking body with those fucking chicken legs.
There's some cows that I've seen like that where they have so skinny of legs, but they're gigantic cows. Like, how does that work?
I guess it distributes all 4 of them. Well, if it had one leg, it'd break in half.
Or like that real fat guy that's got the little legs. It's like, how? How does that work?
And so, okay, so they go to the museum because there was a disturbance there.
Mhm.
And they find a statue of someone named Saint Dionysus, the Areopagite. I hope I ever said that right. The Areopagite. He is he who wars off demons, and they realized that inside was an actual prison. It was it was a big bottle and just full of sand, or what I thought was sand, but it wasn't sand. And apparently, uh, what I thought was sand was actually uh, salt from the tears of 1,000 angels that was used to restrain the essence of Samael, the Desolate One, also known as Son of Nergal, the Hound of Resurrection, Seed of Destruction. Apparently, this demon was so fucking powerful that they couldn't kill it. They had to contain his essence.
Well, Samael is also the name of Lucifer.
So that's what it was supposed to be?
Like the Samael is the angelic name of Lucifer.
Cool. I guess they repurposed the name for here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like kind of like a hound demon, like a hellhound. And Hellboy, every time Hellboy fought it and killed it, I don't know if it had that ability, because it's called the Hound of Resurrection. Because like it doesn't make any sense how they did it. Because so Hellboy kills it, the essence, because it's a green little flame, and once he broke the through the angel's salt tears, I guess, the flame rose up and it reformed into, like, it went from bone to flesh to blood and all that back into Samael. But Hellboy kills it, and from the carcass of the body, one of the flame goes up, and then it splits into two. But then they start, I guess, mating too, because they can have like they're like fucking rabbits.
Yeah.
So once Samael started mating with itself, it was having all these little eggs, like thousands of them. So it was becoming like a freaking army. And so I'm thinking, so would that have happened had Hellboy not killed it and it contained it instead, or would it have been able to asexually reproduce?
No, I think if it would have been able to contain it, it would have been just contained.
Just the one?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the movie, he was fighting like 50 of them. Because they found out that it was reproducing, and they realized how dangerous it was.
Yeah.
So they go back into the New York subway system, because it needs like a warm, damp, wet area, because it's almost like aquatic too.
Yeah.
And so yeah, because it can't handle fire. When Hellboy beats it once, he uses this electricity off of the railroad tracks, like when it's like electrified after the train runs through it.
Yeah.
To like cause a electric current to go through him and then light the Samael on fire. And Hellboy's fine because he's fireproof, and Samael's not. Or at least this version of, I don't know, like the rest of like his actual lore history in the real world.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hellboy, so it starts having all these little eggs. But so when Hellboy, because he fights it twice I guess he fights him 3 times. But in the second fight, he fights it again, just a single one, because he only fought it. He used fighting the single ones only. He kills this one. The same thing happens. The flame goes up. It splits into two. But then the eggs, it cuts to the eggs, and the eggs awaken 2 more. So I'm like, wait. So how does that work? Do they actually grow on their own, or do they only manifest when one of them dies? That would make it only be 1 at one time. There would never be 2.
Right.
So it's either the eggs, because Hellboy kills him. So when he kills him the first time, there's 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
When he kills him the second time, there's 4 of them, right? So, but they all come from the eggs, except for the first 2 that they did not come. They just materialized from their death. Like, I'm real fucking confused as to something else.
That is a weird.
Like, I'm real confused how he like manifests.
Right. Like, I understand the splitting, but I don't understand
the eggs.
Yeah.
Because
Has it ever mentioned?
No, they don't. It's one of those, like, they never really, if you read the comic books, they never go into deep detail. Because, like, but me being, a hard scientist sometimes,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so.
Or at least logical, like a linear.
I'm like, so how did the fucking eggs work? So when he got killed the first time, they formed into 2.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they were able to mate and create the eggs. And when Hellboy killed him again, when the flames burst again into 2, why did it activate 2 of the eggs? Why would the flame just not reform itself into their body? Because it's also known as the Hound of Resurrection.
Yeah.
So it'll just keep coming back to life. So the only way to kill it toward the end, because Hellboy was getting his fucking ass beat. Like, it was like he can handle 1, maybe two, but when it was like 50 on one, like it was like it looked desperate, like oh. And the CGI, the fight scene was great too, because you can see Hellboy, he is stronger than them, and he knows it. So he's holding his own, like he's tossing them around, he's pushing them off, he's fucking breaking their jaws and stuff. But like they're slowly overcoming because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And then Liz Sherman, who is Hellboy's love interest, she's a pyromaniac or pyrokinetic, like she has pyrokinesis.
Yeah.
And she couldn't control it as a kid, and she killed a bunch of people by accident. And when she finally goes back into the BPRD, she goes into the final I guess the final scenes of the movie. They go to this like weird like catacombs or something to face off against Rasputin. And she's able to kill all of them at once with her fire. So so I'm still not understand. So fire's his only weakness, I guess. I don't know why the angels didn't notice that. Instead of crying to beat him and building a fucking mountain of tears of salt, why they didn't realize fire is his weakness. Like it's cool.
It's cool, but there's not a lot of
like something else confuses the hell out of me.
Yeah, because as a pyrokinesis, is she creating flames out of nothing, or
it's from her body?
Okay, so they are like generated from her.
Yeah, it's kind of like a firebender.
Yeah, well, I was thinking because there's the other type of pyrokinetic, like isn't his name Pyro, the mutant?
Yeah,
where he controls.
He needs like an actual. Like,
he needs an actual fire to do it. That's what I was trying to figure out.
He generates it from her own body.
So then maybe they're.
But hers is blue.
I was gonna say they're probably like spirit flames more so than
maybe
like general flames. So maybe that's why they're able to hurt it.
Because they fucking lit him they lit all the Samaels up.
Yeah.
And the eggs, so it was over. So that I guess her special fire, because I thought he got burned before by Hellboy on the railroad. But
those would have been practical flames.
So I guess hers is special powered.
That's the only thing I can think of anyway.
Right. So another interesting thing is the Nazis were losing. This is the beginning of the movie. They're losing the war. So Adolf Hitler, in his genius, decides to hire Rasputin to conduct some experiment on some lonely island in Scotland to turn the tide. And Rasputin was going to awaken the entities called the Ogdru Jihad, who are just these like beings in space, or either a space or some other dimension, and they're just like in these like crystallized prisons, just waiting to be awoken again. And so he's gonna wake them up. Rasputin's plan is to destroy the world. That's the same thing in the comic book. It seems like, because like there's no way that you're gonna awaken the Ogdru Jihad and have them just win for the war for the Nazis and leave. They're gonna destroy the whole planet.
Right.
So he must have lied to Adolf Hitler. And so in doing the ritual, because they mixed black magic with science, like a lot of technology, to open the portal, Broomhold and a squadron or a platoon of American soldiers ambushed them. They destroyed the teleporter, but it was open just long enough to let something through, the thing being Hellboy. And his right hand is apparently a key to open the portal to the Ogdru Jihad. So I guess in this series, it's a little bit different than in the comic book.
Yeah.
And his real name is actually, what's Hellboy's real name? Anu Gunrama. Yeah, that's his Hellboy's real name. And so, what the fuck? I lost my train of thought.
His arm's a key.
Yeah, like his big ass red arm is a key to open the portal.
Yeah.
And Rasputin. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So if he arrived in Scotland, by nationality laws, Hellboy's technically Scottish, is what I'm thinking. Like I just realized, because he was born in Scotland, basically.
That's actually fun.
Like I realized, like, wait, so he was born in Scotland, so he must be Scottish by birth, and American by
translocation,
or not birth, but nurture, I guess, because he was raised in American bases.
Yeah.
So he's American.
He's a dual citizen.
Yeah, basically. So anyway, I was loving the movie so much that I was like, this is why I forgot, because I had forgotten, because like you kind of move on.
Yeah.
And why I wanted to, because I had read the comic books before, but I hadn't gone into deep detail. So I was like, man, I need to go back. And now that I have a platform to talk, I was like, I'm gonna go back and collect the old issues and start talking about the lore and stuff again of the comic books, or maybe also the movies and stuff.
Mhm.
But they're not really canon to the comic book. So basically, I just ordered the omnibuses of some of the. I got the volume one of Hellboy,
Mhm.
Seed of Destruction. So I'll cover that. But I have to really research them this time because I remember when I tried to do One Piece, I couldn't get into it because there was so much to catch up on.
Yeah.
But I can just start slowly with Hellboy because Hellboy is done.
Yeah.
I don't have to catch up to anything. Like we're good. His series is actually his main series is over
Right.
after all these years.
Now he just makes appearances.
Well, now he does like Hellboy and the BPRD 1963 because he had been working with the PBRT until 2001 when he quit the agency.
Yeah.
So Mike Mignola has 50 years worth of like content. He can just like do like prequels for the rest of his career, like that.
As long as he doesn't touch any of the newer stuff.
Yeah, because that's the history's over. That man's a fucking genius. Just having like all these, you can have hundreds of issues and hundreds of miniseries, just covering the time between 1944
Mhm.
and 2001.
And as long as you don't have a bigger like bad guy, I guess you'd call it.
Right, something that wouldn't offset the whole original series.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with I have volume 1 and 2 of the completed short stories, the collected short stories, because they're quicker to read.
Yeah.
We'll go through each one slowly, like one issue, one story at a time. Then we'll cover the bigger miniseries. Then we'll cover the BPRD. One of the ones that I've always wanted to read that I never got around to was The Plague of Frogs, which was a very interesting attack. Something that it's what started. It's what kind of like set the seed for the Ragnarok that was coming from Rasputin. Was the Plague of Frogs, at least from what I remember.
Yeah.
And there's also like a mini series of Rasputin, his origin, why he wanted to start. Because in the comic book, he wants to bring about Ragnarok and restart the world. In the movie, he just wanted to awaken the Ogdru Jihad,
Right.
destroy the world. So it's a different.
Like there's an actual reason for why he wanted to do it then.
There's also Kosheshi something, the Deathless.
Mhm.
There's the Sledgehammer 44. There's the Hyborbian. There's a blade. There's also like sort of like a Excalibur sword. There's also a 1890s Sherlock Holmes type called Sir Edward Grey, who was a paranormal investigator back in the 1890s. There's Lobster Johnson in the 30s, which was a superhero that was a myth to Hellboy, but turns out was true. It was real, a real person, a real vigilante that we used to burn name was Lobster Johnson. He used to burn a fucking lobster symbol on their forehead. That way the devil knows who sent ya. Or some shit like that. So there, anything within the Hellboy universe, I'm gonna try to get collecting cover. Abe Sapien had his own like 3 omnibuses. Lobster Johnson has 1. Hellboy has like his whole series all the way up to Hellboy in Hell, which is my favorite run. Is Hellboy in Hell.
Yeah. Where he actually uses his demonic powers.
Well, no, it's just him. It's him dying and going to hell. So I guess I'm home. Because after what was the fucking there was a big one. The Fury was when Hellboy died.
Yeah.
And man, that was quite the death. And like Mike Mignola like does it like when he's dead, he's dead. There is Hell on Earth, which was the final, the last series before the series ended, where Hellboy returns to Earth to finish the job. Apparently,
Yeah.
so I guess he also brings people back to life. Mike Mignola, just like DC and Marvel.
Just not in the same way.
Yeah, his is final.
DC and Marvel, it's okay, they're back.
So yeah, we'll be covering Hellboy for the foreseeable future. A lot of lore, so I got to get my study on. Make sure that I actually know what I'm talking about from now on. Be the foremost authority on Hellboy. That was actually issue 37, page 19, paragraph 2.
You can be the guy that's actually.
Fuck you, sir. I know what I'm talking about.
And then get your fedora and tip it. Actually.
Mike Mignola calls me like he's correct. I guess I get calls from Mike Mignola. Oh, do you remember? You're actually wrong, Mike Mignola. It was actually page 17.
You gotta have the lisp though.
I gotta have it. Actually.
Or what do they call a slush? Actually. Like
So-
as if you're wearing braces.
Oh man.
Actually.
Oh god. So, well, I didn't cover Hellboy, the first one, so well. I will be covering the comic books a lot better because I'll be able to read them over and over again.
Mhm.
I'll be able to, pick up on things, and so cool. We'll be good to go.
And you were saying that about Hellboy 2, there's a reason why you didn't like it as much.
Uh, okay, so Hellboy 1 is it followed the tradition or the template or the theme or the genre. I don't know which one is the best fit for it of the Mike Mignola series, the gothic supernatural horror stories.
Mhm.
Uh, Hellboy 2 follows the Guillermo del Toro interest, which is the urban fantasy.
Mm.
Like you can clearly tell a difference in both of them. One is solid gothic supernatural horror, like in the tradition of like the old gothic stories, like the vampires and like the werewolves,
Mhm.
like the old like Edward Allan Poe type stories, the real gothic stuff. And then the other one's like the Guillermo del Toro Pan's Labyrinth, where like fairies and the elves and
Right.
dwarves and stuff and goblins. And I'm like, man, that took quite a like. That's why when I was younger, I didn't realize I didn't have the enough understanding of like the differences.
Mhm.
And like it's not that I didn't like it, but I just saw a huge difference. And like I was like, well, that's way
Like two different themes, basically. Is
yeah, like in Hellboy 1, right? They're going to the this cemetery to revive to awaken a dead body so that it would tell them the location of this cathedral or like this hidden city, right? In Hellboy 2, they go to the troll market, which is a mythical place that no one's ever been to. And you have like you have tooth fairies.
so you're getting more into like Harry Potter style fantasy.
Yeah, and I'm like, I never knew that when I first like, but that's the Guillermo del Toro down to a T.
Yeah.
That's his interest.
Was the second one the Golden something?
The Golden Army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was making sure that wasn't a third movie that I didn't know about.
No
Yeah.
third movie, and at least not under Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering why he took such a vast difference.
Because that's not necessarily a 180 turn, but that's a good
That's a
90
huge
degree.
like left turn in the sea, like a whole different genre.
Yeah, that's definitely a left
Like it's
turn.
not supernatural anymore. It's more like
High fantasy
urban
almost.
fantasy. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like the underground cities and stuff
I was gonna say
on top of like a regular human civilization.
yeah, I was gonna say high fantasy, but that'd be more like Lord of the Rings. But
Yeah.
yeah, urban fantasy.
Be like the elves living on the fucking subway system underneath the subways.
Like a Harry Potter. Like it's
Like I was like, that's
because you're combining like modern stuff with
with the old like
fantasy, like myths and stuff.
the old Tolkien's type stuff,
Yeah,
like dwarves and elves and goblins.
right. Or I was gonna say more of like urban legend
Yeah,
type stuff. Because like how there's always been elves and fairies and stuff in like Irish
they even have
lore.
they even tell you like the lore of the tooth fairy, which was like the little tooth fairies. They would actually the way what they really darken them up. Like they would eat people's bones and skins and stuff, but they would enjoy the teeth first because they love the calcium.
Yeah,
So that's how they became the tooth fairies.
yeah,
And they romanticized them for kids. Like, oh yeah, you put your teeth underneath the thing, the tooth fairy could. But the real lore is the dark fantasy lore.
yeah,
So I guess more dark fantasy than actual urban,
yeah.
like a mix of dark and urban,
Like kind of like Grimm.
but not supernatural. It's not like a demon, like being in prison, like in like a Hellboy story would be like a demon chained up by like the baptized chains of some priest, like Saint Dionysus,
Mhm.
like trapped in the cellar of a cathedral.
Right.
That would be a Hellboy story.
Or something that's been trapped there like during the Inquisition periods or
Right.
something.
And
Yeah.
like Gilmore stuff would be like the elves slowly fading from history because their culture is being pushed back by humanity, by technology and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting.
That is a definite 90-degree
Yeah, I
shift.
told him, I was like when because I saw them like back to back. I'm like what the fuck is this? Is nowhere near what the other one was.
And that's why I said not a one, because a 180 would be like just going straight scientific.
Yeah,
But it's a good
Like
hard
UFOs and
90
stuff.
degree. Yeah. That's a good hard 90-degree turn though. Totally different genre.
so yeah, I was like a little bit confused. I guess Mike Manola just gave him the go ahead.
That is surprising.
It's still his property. Or
Really
maybe he had no control of the live action
possible.
after the second one.
Or there are set standards at least, like you have to have certain things in the movies.
Yeah,
But I don't know. That's
you got Prince Nuada.
because I know J.K. Rowling, like she had full control over her movies. stuff.
They were pretty faithful to the books, weren't they? More or less.
Aside from like little things like eye color and stuff,
Yeah.
but not anything major. But she had definitely control over it.
Man. So yeah, like if you guys watch 1 and 2, you'll see a drastic difference.
Isn't it a little bit brighter in coloring too?
Yeah, that's another thing. Like it's just more color popping
Yeah,
than the original.
like just the cinematography of it is brighter.
It's just more like fantasy-ish
Yeah,
instead of grittier.
yeah,
Yeah. It's wild. It's a wild difference when you can see a complete difference in the whole thing.
There's been a few movies. I'm trying to think of another example of it because I know there's a bunch out there.
I'm like, huh? What? Going back and forth between both. I'm like, what the fuck?
Because it's not like whenever they made the Lord of the Rings series where they were all basically the same style. The Hobbit did differ a little bit for it, but not in a true 90-degree fashion. I mean, maybe the TV show, but that's a different.
I keep forgetting there's a TV show.
She had the Rings of Power.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that like changed so vastly from one to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like one movie is like a completely like it's almost like a soft reboot.
That is weird.
It's just the direction they took, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Not to mention the third one was supposed to be something even stranger.
really.
I think his Hellboy's girlfriend from the first one, Liz, was pregnant, and then maybe they were supposed to be the Antichrist, the babies, or he was supposed to be the Antichrist. I can't remember what Hellboy was supposed to be.
Yeah, it never got made though.
The third one, no, it never got enough funding.
Remember the 2019 one?
Rebooted everything. And I was like, it tried to be too crass, like on purpose, like rated R. So fuck yeah. Like the character of Broomhold was always a refined Englishman,
Yeah,
and so he was like him like swearing and saying like it didn't fit the character.
kind of like how they did Alfred in the comic books eventually. Like whenever they DC rebooted it, they made Alfred like he'd always been
So fucking SAS agent now.
like he's always known how to fight, but never like they weren't pushing that. They were trying to push Alfred as being like he was Secret Service for or like a Secret Service anyway for the English, but he's past that age to do much.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like he should have been more knowledge than like practicality
Right.
or physicality.
Right. But then they turned him into a fucking like where he's still buff as fuck. It's like,
Oi, oi, Huey. He looked like fucking. He's like fucking Butcher from the fucking the boys. Oi, Huey.
oh Huey.
Oi, Bruce Wayne. It's me, Alfred. Fuck these guys. Would that be random as fuck? Oi, Mr. Wayne.
Because even Zack Snyder's
All right,
Alfred.
a bright cup of tea, Mr. Wayne.
Oi,
Fucking nose busted from getting into a fist fight at the supermarket.
I fought for these.
That would be fucking weird if it was fucking Carl Urban as fucking Billy Butcher as fucking Alfred Pennyworth.
It'd be fucking hilarious though.
So instead of saying "Oi, Huey," "Oi, Brucey,"
We need to go get the Joker.
Joker's a right crazy mate, ain't he?
Let's go fuck him up.
Some men just want to watch the world burn, don't they?
That would be so fucked up. It would be funny, but
It would be fucking hilarious. Oi!
like all the memes with the actor that plays Butcher, where it's like Lord of the Rings, where it goes to
Oi,
every
Gandalf.
every character that he's played, he's just
Oi! Yeah, just like because that just defined his career. That's his like
did.
it broke. That's his like breakout role.
Instead of oi Frodo.
Oi, Frodo! You get that ring to the mountain Mordor, don't you?
But that's what he was known for before is Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Like everything else that he had played after that, it was always compared to the Lord of the Rings role. And now it's like, no, he's Billy
Fucking
Butcher.
Billy Butcher.
No matter what he does anymore now.
So I love it though. That role, like that's just his role. He owned it,
It did fit him very, very well.
or he just fit that character to a T.
They casted the role very well, though.
Yeah, they did. Don't you worry, Huey, my boy. Like, what did he say? Don't you worry, Huey, me boy. Daddy's home. Don't you worry, Huey, me boy. I can't even say it fast enough or slow enough. Don't you worry, Huey, me boy.
Imagine
Daddy's home.
Imagine him saying that to Bruce.
I was doing that shit forever. Like, Daddy's home. Don't you guys worry, Daddy's home.
And everybody's like, "Oh God, again."
He comes in and slaps Bruno on the shoulder. Don't you worry, Brucey boy. Daddy's home.
Machine up my
Just
daddy.
beats the hell out of the Joker. Boy, what you did to my boy?
Well, there's that run where, like Alfred supposedly is the one that set up everybody.
Set him up.
Like he's the one that
Made him all rich or something.
will set everything up for Bruce Wayne to be Batman.
Oh,
Like where he's the one that created the Joker, the Riddler, and all of them because they were all friends of his.
wasn't he like the one that was like? There was one where he was like dressing up as the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember kind
It's
of
like, what the
vaguely
fuck?
remember that.
Like that was the stupidest shit I have ever seen.
You seen that new comic book about Batman, where he has that big ass fucking symbol, and it turned out to be an axe?
Yeah. It is it's that series I was telling you about where it's more grounded in Earth, but where Batman is he's a construction worker or something like that. Like,
He is?
yeah, he's not even rich.
What the fuck? Weird.
Absolute Batman.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just an axe.
Yeah, and then
Wouldn't a sledgehammer fit better if he was a fucking construction worker?
Superman is grittier. Wonder Woman is grittier. Like it's
There was one person that, and it was so poignant. I was like, wow, I hope that's true. So basically, he was saying his theory about the absolute Batman and that huge bat symbol was that throughout that run, Batman's suit will get more beat up. The little stuff will get more scratched until eventually, toward the very end, it'll get shrunken down to the actual bat symbol. I was like, that would be fucking phenomenal. It's like it would start as that huge thing, right?
yeah.
And then, like, as he, like, fights and, triumphs and fails, and it slowly becomes Batman, right? It would become the actual Batman symbol. Like, it would just break, it would be just, like, cut down itself from all the fucking battles.
Yeah.
And that the final issue, it'd just be the original.
The original symbol.
Like, it would be, damaged into it, the original symbol, right? And I was like, beautiful. And that's what he was saying was the theory. And then it just turns out big fucking axe. It's like, well, fuck, I fucked up my theory. Because that theory sounded better than what the shit actually turned out to be. A fucking axe on his fucking chest.
Isn't that stupid?
If I had read that as the writer, I'd be like, fuck, that's a good idea.
Let's go ahead and make a few adjustments.
Let's fix that so that turns into the actual bat symbol at the end.
No. Let's do something really stupid.
Because it does not look like the bat symbol at all, right?
No, it don't.
And so what he was saying, like, it sounded like it made sense, right? It would slowly morph into the symbol toward the end. I'd be like, it's beautiful. Like, so he becomes Batman.
Yeah.
Like, he's not Batman throughout the whole thing until the very end.
Where he's just a vigilante that
Right. And then, like, it just like, he gets cut down into Batman. But no, it's just a big ass axe. Well, he's like, he must have been so sad. It's like, oh,
that was
that takes some intelligence, right? To think of that. And he was like, because he's fucking read like fucking War and Peace, and he's like, it's gonna be beautiful, just like Moby Dick.
Well, he's probably read a lot of Batman stories too.
And he was just hoping, and then it was like, oh,
that's not what I wanted.
that's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life.
And then apparently Superman's not the Boy Scout Superman.
No,
he's like where he will kill people.
nah,
It's like that's not like the
not
whole.
really Superman.
No, the whole point of Superman is that he's held to a standard that nobody else holds.
Because it's Superman.
Yeah, like it had always been a where Batman and Superman were the same people, just different sides of the coin. So Superman was the Boy Scout in his mentality and the way he treated people and the way he was like all bright and happy. And then Batman was the Boy Scout in the fact that he was always prepared, always had the equipment, knew how to do stuff, but they were the same like person almost, just different sides of the coin, the dark and the light side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, they're both dark sides. It's cool. One kills them fast, and then one kills them really slow.
What hit him with a fucking axe?
And then you got Wonder Woman just want to be there.
So I want to fight too, and she fucking shaved some dude's skull in.
Well, she already did Maxwell Lord. Remember, she flipped his neck around and
The way the panel looked like she fucking twisted it 3 or 4 times.
I know.
Because this shit looked like a fucking look, twisted as fuck. I'm like, god dang! How many times did you twist his fucking neck?
she spun it once and it just spun.
Like, I guess because the way, because you see it contort like around like a fucking spring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's spun at least twice. She didn't bend that neck one time.
She spun it around a couple.
She went like crank. She cranked that motherfucker crank twice or 3 times.
Which is so fucked up.
That's what it looked like to me when I saw it.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to a lot of people. It's like, oh, oh,
That or she fucking grabbed him by the head and just fucking kicked his shoulder and he just spun. Bah! And he just his neck just fucking started twisting.
like a corkscrew.
Yeah, just holds the head in place and spins the body with a kick.
That'd be a horrible way to die, wouldn't it?
A little bit. Hopefully it's quick. No one in DC he's fucking survived and he's just in a fucking hospital bed like I'll get my revenge.
Well, I think Maxwell Lord is alive still in the comics.
Of course, they can't kill DC and Marvel comic characters.
I know.
It's like One Piece.
You
It's impossible to kill him.
can't just let him die.
No, he sure can't kill. I think he's only killed like 2 or 3 characters.
Yeah.
If I think about it right. Maybe more.
I mean, even Fairy Tail killed off more than that. And Fairy Tail was not known for, like, if Fairy Tail is what, it's a good anime, but it's a friendship prevails over all type anime, where your enemies eventually become your allies type thing.
Be dumb as hell.
But there's actually been people that have died in the anime.
We're
like,
friends now. Bro, you
Kinda how it
tried
is.
to fucking kill me.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah. Now, not every villain becomes an ally.
Be like a Joker just one day like, yeah, I want to be a good guy.
No.
The clown prince of justice.
The Clown Prince of Crime.